Tulum is one of the most visited and beautiful places to visit in Mexico, and while it attracts thousands of tourists, is it actually good to go and worth to visit? Tulum is a well-known paradise that invites you to escape the mundane and discover a world of endless possibilities. Tulum has stunning beaches and is a very popular destination for people to visit from all around the world. Welcome to Mexico. In this video, we're gonna tell you the pros and cons of visiting Tulum, Mexico, the things you can consider when you come here, and why you should consider if Mexico is the right place for you. So let's dive right into it. So some important things to note about coming to Tulum. If you want to come to Tulum, you have to fly first into the Cancun airport. It's the closest airport here to Tulum, and it's about 2 hours away via a car. Now, there are many alternative ways to get here. If you don't want to rent a car, that includes getting a shuttle or doing a system. You can do like a taxi, but the cheapest and probably the best way to do it here is rent a car. Again, driving here, you have to get used to the laws and the road regulations, which can be a bit challenging, but it is a very good place to visit. Tulum started as a beach town, and it started as a place where a lot of people would flock to visit and check out the beautiful beaches, relax on the seashore, and enjoy an affordable place to stay. But when the tourism from Cancun started to move to the Tulum area, a lot has changed. A lot of people have been saying recently that Tulum has gone from this small beach town into a really expensive and overpriced and overhyped place to visit. You can see just how much algae and seaweed here is. It is a lot. I mean, it's definitely a big problem that they have here at this beach. And while Tulum's charm is undeniable, it's important to consider how to navigate these expenses, or even if it's worth to visit on your vacation or to visit there to work as a digital nomad as well. So we are walking towards the Tulum ruins over here, and there's a lot of things going on here. A lot of people are going to ask you for purchase of parking and different excursions you can do, but if you just park, pay 150 pesos, which is what we did, and you walk down here for about maybe 10 minutes, and you're gonna get to the Tulum ruins. So beware when you're in here. Lots of scams going on, but if you just go this way, you're gonna avoid a lot of that hassle. The inflation here is unreal. When we first visited Tulum, we expected the prices to be somewhat reasonable considering the fact that it is pretty far away from Cancun, and it is a lot smaller of a beach town as well. But we were very wrong. Going to one of the main supermarkets there, you will be paying the same or even more than you would be paying for groceries in the US.
Just want to see the beach though.
I know, just want to see the beach. So we're trying to go to Playa, Pescadores, which is a beach here in Tulum, but so far it has been more difficult to do. What do you think?
I feel like it's so complicated. We just want to go to the beach, but
yeah, it has been complicated. So you have to go a certain way to enter, and then there's a big long lineup of cars right here. We're still waiting in line. Then we have to go and pay a fee. We'll see how that goes. But so far this has been hard to just get to the beach. We're trying to figure out how to do that. And because everything heavily relies off of the US dollar, the prices here are very expensive. This was definitely a shock to both of us, since we booked our accommodation as an Airbnb a few weeks before, and we found the price to be quite reasonable. We paid around $300 for this Airbnb here in the center of Tulum town. But this doesn't explain the whole story, because even though the accommodations, if you stay in an Airbnb, might be affordable, the other expenses such as the daily expenses, the activities, and the food are really insanely overpriced and overhyped. This is the place here that we rented here in Tulum. Pretty spacious. You got a living area, you got a TV. This TV has Netflix there. And you even got a little small kitchen over here. Did not come with a lot of things, but it came with a few little pans, and you got a microwave, and there's a fridge there as well. So pretty decent place. Again, it's a nice open space. Over here we have the bedroom as well, so pretty open. Overall, it's a good location. It's not too far from the beach. So we just arrived here at Playa Pescadores, and it's a beach here, and it's really beautiful. As you can see, the sand is white, beautiful background. But to get to this beach is a bit of an interesting thing you have to do. You have to pay for entrance, 58 pesos per person. You want to do the regular government entrance, and then you have to pay 300 pesos for parking, which is quite expensive for parking. And then if you want to go to a beach club, you have to pay extra on top of that. And there are some people who sell directly, like packages. You can actually walk to the beach as well, but if you want to walk, it's about 40 minutes. So if you really just want to come here and enjoy, you have to pay probably around 400 or 500 pesos to get to this beach. Tulum is divided into two separate areas, and it's important to know this before you plan your trip to Tulum. First area is known as the Tulum town, and essentially this is the main town of Tulum. But the problem with the way that Tulum is set up is that the main town is not next to the beach. The other part of Tulum is called Tulum Beach, and this area is where most of the popular resorts and more fancier and swankier places are located to stay. But if you're looking there to go as a digital nomad, or even to stay for longer term, most likely you'll be staying in the Tulum town, as the more expensive places are towards the Tulum beach. The problem with this is that Tulum Beach and Tulum Town are located about 20 minutes away from each other if you are driving or taking a taxi. So, you either need to rent a car or take a local taxi, which is going to cost you around 300 pesos for one way. The other problem is, if you decide to rent a car, you're also going to be paying hefty prices for parking, as there is no free parking almost anywhere in the Tulum Beach area. So this creates a problem where the beautiful beaches are actually quite far away from the Tulum town, and if you want to go there, the only way to go there is via car, which can be very expensive just to go to the beach. The other problem too is parking is very limited, and we found this to be exceptionally a problem. If you want to get anywhere close to the beach, there are two ways you can do this. The first is you can go to a beach bar and actually go and enter the beach bar and buy some food and some drinks, and you can enjoy your time there at the beach. Sometimes the parking is included, but many times it's actually on top of what you pay to enter the beach bar. The other option is, there is the Tulum National Park, which is run by the government, but there are many problems with this too. The way that the infrastructure is set up, from how we noticed, is that if you want to go into the Tulum National Park, which has the Mayan ruins and has the main access to the public beach, you have to pay a lot of fees just to get into that area as well, and it's not cheap. For instance, if you rent a car, you're going to be paying at least $5 to $10 per person just for the entry ticket. That doesn't include parking. And then when you get inside, you're going to have to pay 300 pesos for parking inside the Tulum Beach National Park. And the problem with this is it's not regulated, so many people will charge different prices for parking on their parking lot, even once you're inside of the Tulum National Park. This whole system is very disorganized and very problematic. After you get your tickets, you're gonna walk into this main area, and you can see temples and ruins here on both sides. You can walk around this area, check out the sights. There's even, looks like a view over there. It's quite a big area. So pretty hot. Also, when you come here, bring lots of sunscreen, bring a hat, as you're walking pretty much in the sun, no shade most of the day here. So definitely important to bring some hats. Interesting thing about the Mayan temples is not just here in Mexico. A lot of other countries here in Central and South America also have Mayan temples as well, such as Belize and Guatemala. It was a whole civilization here around many of the current countries as of now. So when you come here, you're gonna see similarities between, if you go here in different countries, similarities between the Mayan temples, as it was back then one of the biggest civilizations here of South America. So if you're coming here, you will notice that there's also a lot of lizards everywhere you look to. So if you stop, wait a moment, look to your left or your right side and just look at the grass, you'll see tons and tons of quite big lizards here. Quite interesting to see. Once you get into the Tulum beach area, it's very beautiful. I mean, there is lots of resorts here and there's lots of beautiful things to see, and the beach is stunning. So we just got the tickets here. This is an extra 90 pesos per person if you want to go into the Mayan ruins. You get these tickets after you go into Tulum National Park, and it's the only place you can get these tickets from here. Official ones, get them when you're inside the park. So not only are you going to see the Mayan ruins here, but you're going to see beautiful views like this here as well behind us of the beach. So coming to this park is definitely a good thing to do. You can spend your day here and enjoy all kinds of things here in this park. There's the beach, Mayan ruins, and there's beach clubs and restaurants the further you go down here as well. Let's go into some other activities in the Tulum area. Some other popular things to do in Tulum are the cenotes. There are hundreds of cenotes located around the Yucatan Peninsula. Anywhere from Cancun to Tulum, you will find all kinds of different cenotes. All of these cenotes are private in the most case from what we found, and they all have different prices to enter. For example, the most famous cenote, which is called the Grand Cenote, charges 500 pesos per person to enter, and that doesn't even include bringing a drone or a GoPro in the cenote, which they also charge extra for. The cenote that we went to was actually quite nice. It was called Casa Cenote, but they still charged around 200 to 300 pesos per person, depending on if you brought your GoPro or not. They also did charge an extra fee if you brought a professional camera or a drone as well. And if you want to rent a locker, that's also gonna cost you an additional 50 pesos. Again, this comes down to the organization. We found that both in the Tulum town and the Tulum beach, and even in the cenotes, things were just very disorganized and not well maintained. So it's something that you should definitely do when you are visiting Tulum and the Yucatan Peninsula, is to visit a cenote. But make sure you do your research on the best ones to visit, because they're all different in prices. Also, a lot of them close around 5 or 6 p.m. as what we noticed, so you're gonna have to go in the morning or early afternoon if you want to go to this cenote. Now let's head into some of the more positive things about Tulum, because again, there are two sides to every story, and depending on your experience in Tulum, you might have a different experience from what we had. Tulum is known for many of its restaurants and beautiful, stunning resorts, and this is very true. There are stunning resorts along the whole coastline of the Tulum beach area. However, the problem with this is that even though there are co-working spaces, it's not really ready for digital nomads, to be honest. The Wi-Fi speeds, even at different cafes around the Tulum city, were quite slow. We had a hard time finding any connection that was over 25 megabytes per second, and that was on the high side. And then there's the prices that come along with that. If you want to go to a digital nomad or co-working workspace, you're going to be paying 300 to 500 pesos for a day pass. Tulum is a place that is developing, and there is construction everywhere in this town. I think in a few years it'll be different, and we are noticing, especially from other people that are also talking about Tulum, is that the infrastructure is just not quite there yet, especially for digital nomads. The problem with Tulum is that there is so much construction and people wanting to go there that they are just building really fast, but they're not really thinking about the planning part of the future of Tulum, and this leaves uncertainties in its future. Another problem is that the prices are way too overpriced for most people to be able to afford. And it's very unfortunate because Tulum is a beautiful place. It has a lot of potential to be a good place to be a digital nomad, and also to even go for a vacation for a few weeks to a month. But the problem is that this has totally changed in the recent years, and it went from this small sleepy beach town to a really expensive, overpriced and overhyped place to visit. So the question is Tulum really worth visiting here in 2023? Well, it depends on you and what you want to experience. If you are going there for a vacation for a few weeks, you might absolutely love Tulum and the things that it has to offer. The beaches are beautiful, there is lots to do, and there's many restaurants to choose from. And there's also a small nightlife scene that is pretty good. But if you're gonna be going there for long term, such as a digital nomad or a person who wants to work on the go, it might not be the best option for you. You might want to consider other destinations in Mexico or even other countries around this area. There's a lot of talk about countries neighboring Mexico that have the opportunity and more infrastructure to really support the upcoming digital nomad scene. And there's also a lot of talk about people who want to visit Mexico City to work as digital nomads, as the cost is apparently lower. So definitely before you plan your trip to Tulum, make sure you consider these things and really think about what you want to do there. So until next time, see you soon.